Austria is next. Your spouse can come with you and your children can come with you, but your spouse can't work. It does not allow dual citizenship, but you have access to the blue card, and it's #2 passport in the world. Average tuition, 3,000 to 23,000. That's quite a wide margin. And then you have up to about 35,000 for special programs, like those who ask about, I want to study medicine, or surgery, or vet medicine, or nursing. It may be within that range. Work and study policy is about 20 hours per week. And then after your study, you can stay back 2 to 3 years. 2 years if you study for undergraduate or master's, and 3 years if you study for your PhD. And you can, when you stay back, you can either work or start a business. The PR or citizenship policy is applicable. Yeah, you can apply for citizenship after 10 years of residence in Austria. And that includes 5 years of PR. So you must have held PR for 5 years and then another 5 years. Then you have to show proof of fund. That's the POF there. You have to show that you have enough money to stay back and take care of yourself, and that you are not going to be needing social security when you stay back. And you must also demonstrate German language skills. Denmark is next there. Your family can come with you. Your spouse can work while your family is staying with you and you're studying. The passport is #3 in the world. It gives you access to 116 countries visa-free. It allows dual citizenship, and you also get a blue card when you study there. Tuition ranges between 6,000 to 16,000 euro. And then you work and study policy, because you can work for 20 hours during session and 3 months full-time during the holidays. For study, you are only permitted to stay for 3 months after your study to look for a job. If you find a job, you switch to work visa. And if you find a job before even the 3 months, you can always get a work visa that allows you to stay on. Citizenship policy or PR requires minimum of 5 years residence and then 5 years PR, or 3 years if you are married to a Polish citizen. BAT does not give you automatic citizenship in Denmark. So even if you are international, for example, and you give birth in Denmark, your child does not have automatic citizenship. But if your spouse is Polish, then your child has automatic citizenship. And then Poland is another country. Some of these countries that you see me put a star on them are possibly having certain issues at the moment, but that does not stop you from considering them. Poland is currently, it's very next to Ukraine, where a war is raging at the moment. And so you may want to also think about that before you make a decision. And then you have your family can come with you, study in Poland, but your spouse cannot work. It allows dual citizenship, gives you access to the blue card. The passport is #3 in the world, gives you access to 116 countries visa-free and 50 visa on arrival. Average tuition is around 2,000 euro, and that's far below $4,000, I think. That's a good price. You can work and study 20 hours per week during session, 3 months full-time during holidays. And after graduation, you get 3 months for study visa that can allow you to find a job. And if you find a job, switch to a work visa. PR and citizenship policy, minimum 5 years of residence plus 5 years of PR. If you are married to a citizen, you need 3 years after your marriage before you can apply for citizenship. And by birth, only if at least one of the parents is Polish. Portugal allows you to come with your family and your spouse can work. It allows dual citizenship, gives you access to the blue card. Passport is #3 in the world. No visa to 118 countries, 48 or visa on arrival. And average tuition around 950 euro to 1,250 for undergraduate or masters. Around 3,000 for PhD, that's annual. That's quite low, very, very low. So that's a good place. You may need to learn Portuguese, maybe Work and study policy is about 20 hours per week during the session, unlimited during breaks. If you are a non-EU student, you're going to need a permit. You're going to need to get a permit. Usually, your study permit will give you this kind of access if you are studying in the right institution. If you make a mistake and you're studying a wrong institution, you need to apply for a separate permit. Post-study work policy gives you 12 months to look around for a job after your graduation, and you can either work or start a business. PR or citizenship policy, 5 years of residence for you to get the PR. So if you have lived in Portugal for 5 years working, then you can apply for your PR. After 5 years of PR, then you can apply for citizenship. Portugal also has a golden visa policy. That's visa by investment. That means you can buy your citizenship. So if you invest up to 500,000 euro in real estate, you get the golden visa that allows you to stay on and you can always renew it. Or if you make a capital transfer of about 1 million euro, or if you are able to start a business and you create 10 jobs, which I think is very easy. You're able to create 10 jobs, then you are free to apply for your citizenship. You are free to stay on in Portugal. So that's a good one. I think Portugal is the only country with this kind of policy. So if you are someone with a good idea or a good business idea, and you go, you study, you can graduate and start a business, grow your business, employ 10 people, and then you'll be allowed to stay back. Portuguese passport is number 3 in the world, access to 118 countries, visa free, 48 visa on arrival. Belgium also allows you to bring your family and your spouse can work. Number 3 passport allows dual citizenship and gives you access to the blue card. Average tuition also around 951 euro to 4,700 per year. 475 hours of work per year. You may need to divide that across weeks on your own, depending on how much time you have. So you are not restricted to a particular number of hours per week, but you should not work more than 475 hours per year. After your study, you are allowed 1 year of orientation. That's a 12-month orientation year, and then you get a residence permit. You can always switch to work permit after you find a job, and you are also allowed to either work or start a business. PR or citizenship, you can apply for PR after 5 years of residence, but this comes with income requirements. So you have to show that you meet the income requirement for you to be allowed to apply for PR. Then if you are married to a Belgian citizen, after 3 years of marriage, you can also apply for citizenship. Switzerland allows you to bring your family. It also allows your spouse to work. It allows dual citizenship, but the blue card does not apply in Switzerland. You remember at the beginning when I showed you the EFTA countries, Switzerland was one of them. So it does not allow the blue card. So the policies that apply to the blue card does not apply in Switzerland. The passport is number 3 in the world, allows you to access 117 countries without visa, 49 with visa on arrival. Average tuition is between 400 and 3,700 euro, which is also quite low if you are studying for undergraduate or master's. And for PhD, just between, 100 euro and 900 euro if you're studying for your PhD. So all those comes with conditions. Work and study, you can work for 15 hours per week, and you can work full-time during weeks. And then for an international student who is a non-EU national, so if you come from any country that is not within the EU, you can only start work after 6 months for beginning your study. So you have to wait for 6 months for you to get the permit that allows you to work. And like I always say during these sessions, if you have a skill that is marketed, you don't have to worry yourself about finding a job with approval, because you are always free to sell your skill and get paid for solving problems. For study work policy, 6 months is non-extended. So after 6 months, if you don't find a job, you have to leave the country. But if you find a job, you switch to a work permit. Citizenship, 10 years of residence, and 5 of these 10 years must be as a PR, then you can apply for citizenship. The golden visa policy does not apply in Switzerland. That means you cannot buy your citizenship. For this 5 years of residence, the year that is preceding your application must be spent only in Switzerland. And if you are applying on the basis of marriage, you must have been married to a Swiss citizen for at least 3 years. Passport is number 3. And then we have Norway here, because a lot of times we always get the idea that, oh, you don't pay tuition in Norway. Yes, you don't pay tuition if you are studying in the public university. If you are studying in a private university, you pay tuition, and that ranges between 7,000 to 9,000 euro for undergraduate programs and 9,000 to 19,000 for postgraduate programs. You can work for 20 hours per week and 40 hours during break. That's full-time during break. And after your study, you are free to stay back for 12 months to find a job, and then you can switch to a work permit, which is equivalent to the residence permit. Then after 3 years of residence, you can apply for your PR. Now, at the end of the day, you can apply for citizenship when you have stayed like 10 years in Norway. 7 out of these 10 years must have been spent in Norway. What that means for you is you cannot stay for more than 2 months per year outside Norway within these 10 years. If you stay longer than that, you forfeit that chance. So Norway Passport is number 4 in the world. It allows you to enter 117 countries visa-free and 48 visa on arrival. Your spouse can come with you, and your spouse can work. Your children can also come, and they must be under 18 years. It allows dual citizenship, but there is no blue card. Norway is also one of the EFTA countries that does not allow, that does not subscribe to the blue card policy. And then we have the Czech Republic, which allows you to also come with your family, and the spouse can work. And then you have dual citizenship, and the blue card applies here. It's number 4 passport, average tuition, free if you are studying in Czech medium. So if you are studying in the language, you don't have to pay tuition for public and state schools. But if not, your tuition can range from anything from, say, 5,000 euro to 22,500 euro. Work and study policy, 20 hours to 40 hours per week is allowed. And then for post-study work, when you graduate, you can stay back for 9 months. You can work or start a business. And then for citizenship and PR, you need a minimum of 1 year on the D visa, that's your study visa now, which allows you to stay in the country. You need minimum 1 year. After that, you can apply. You can stay for 4 to 5 years, and then you can apply for your PR. Then after 5 years of PR, you can apply for your citizenship. That's for Czech Republic. And for Hungary, you can have you can come with your family. Your spouse can work. It allows dual citizenship. The blue card applies, and passport is number 4 in the world. 115 countries visa free, 50 visa on arrival. Average tuition, 1,500 euro, and that will mean you will study in Hungarian language most of the time. So, but tuition is quite low as well. Tuition is quite low in Hungary. Work and study 24 hours per week, and you can work 66 to 90 days full time during the holidays. After your study, you can stay back for 9 months, or if you get your work permit, or if you get a job within that time, you can switch to the work permit, which also allows you to stay back. It's also a residence permit. Citizenship is allowed. You can apply for citizenship after 5 years of PR or work permit. Then you need 8 years of total stay in the country. Hungary has a golden visa policy. So if you buy up to 300,000 worth of 300,000 euro worth of government treasury bonds, you can get automatic citizenship or PR, so to say. 5 years of lockout on that treasury bond. That means the government is going to hold that treasury bond for 5 years, and then they give you 5 years of visa. And after 5 years, they return your investment and your PR status remains intact. So you only need 5 years of investing that money and letting it stay there. And then you can get it back and continue to be a PR. So I think that's a good deal. Hungary. Passport number 4, 115 countries visa free. And then Greece is next. Greece is number 4 as well. And then there are some I think conditions for Greece. That's why you see the star on it there. It's down there at the green section at the bottom of the screen. Average tuition also around 1,500. And then work and study 20 hours per week or 40 hours during breaks. And then post-study policy is very, very not very applicable here actually, but there are some new policies that are being worked on. So when that comes up, maybe things will be better. Work permit is quite rare for international students who study in Greece. Not that you can't get it, but it's rare. You get, and then if you get a job offer as an international student, let's assume you have studied, you have graduated, and then you get a job offer. You have to go back to your country to receive the appointment letter and then apply for visa to come in. So you can't stay back in the country and get the job and then resume at the job like you have in other countries. PR or citizenship policy, okay, it's also there, 3 years of residence, then and this is actually pertaining to citizenship. So Greece citizenship is a little bit flexible. After 3 years of residence for international students married to a Greek national, then you can apply for citizenship. If you have stayed in the country for 7 years, you are not married to a local, you can also apply for citizenship. If plus 180 days per year or 5 years of residence permit or work permit in Greece. The golden visa, that's visa by investment, also applies in Greece, and you get it just within 2 months if you have what it takes. It gives you 5-year visa if you are able to invest in property, and it is indefinitely renewable. So as long as you have the money, 5 years, you get the visa. After 5 years, you renew. After another 5 years, you renew indefinitely. You can come with your family, but your spouse cannot work. It allows dual citizenship, and the blue card applies. It gives you access to 115 countries, visa free, 50 visa on arrival. Malta, we covered Malta just, I think last webinar, we covered Malta. So if you need more information on Malta, you can check on YouTube or Facebook, Arrow's YouTube or Arrow's Facebook. I'm going to give you details of that later on. Tuition is quite low. It can even be lower than this. And there are a lot of scholarships in Malta. So work and study policy is 24 hours per week. You can work 66 to 90 days full time during the holidays. And you can only start working from week 13 of your arrival. That's about, I think, in the 4th month of your arrival. So that means you have to arrive, and 3 months into your arrival, you won't be able to start working just for you to get the permit that allows you to work. So from week 13, you can start working. Your post-study, after your study, you can stay back for 6 months. And if you find a job, you can switch to a work permit or residence permit. Citizenship or PR policy applies here. 5 years of stay in the country, 8 years of stay if you are not married to a local. Golden visa applies as well. 300,000 euro government treasury bond. Also 5 years of lockout. Get it back after 5 years. Yeah. The conditions there, that's why you see the star, the double star on the name of the country. I said, check out the last webinar on Arrow's Education YouTube or contact Arrow's office. They can always send you the link so you can get all the full details about studying in Malta. The passport is number 4 in the world, gives you access to 117 countries visa-free, 48 visa on arrival. And you can come with your family to Malta, and your spouse can work. So while you are studying, your spouse can be working, and it allows dual citizenship and gives you access to the blue card. And then Lithuania is the next one. Average tuition 1,000 to 5,000 euro for undergraduate programs and up to 6,500 for postgraduates. You can work full-time during session. So they don't have the 20-hour thing. You can work full-time during session. After your graduation, you can stay back for 12 months, find a job, and then you can switch to work visa. If you are highly skilled, that is, actually, this is open to those who study for PhD. So if you have studied for your PhD in Lithuania, after graduation, you are free to apply for your PR. And if you have stayed in any of the EU countries or any of the EU territories for 5 years, you can also access this opportunity. If you stay for 2 years in Lithuania with a temporary residence permit, or 7 years with PR, and you have a Lithuanian spouse, you are also free to apply to citizenship in Lithuania. And then if you are born to Lithuanian parents, or one of your parents is Lithuanian, or one of your child's parents is Lithuanian, then you can apply for child will be automatically qualified for citizenship. Passport is number 5, and that gives you access to 115 countries. Your spouse and family can come with you. The spouse can work. Dual citizenship is allowed, and the blue card applies. Latvia is another country that is cheap for you to study. Average tuition is about 3,000 to 5,000 euros. Blue card applies. Dual citizenship applies. Your family can come with you. Your spouse can work, and then passport is number 6 in the world. Gives you access to 114 countries and 49 visa on arrival. You can work and study for 20 hours during session and 40 hours during breaks. You can stay back for 6 months after your graduation to find a job, and then you can switch to work permit. Citizenship policy is also there. It requires you to have knowledge of Latvian language, general history, and national anthem. So that means you're going to go for an interview, and they may ask you to take a test. Then if you are applying for citizenship or PR, you need to show an annual income of about 22,500 per year, which I think is relatively okay because that's less than 1,000 euro per month. So if you are earning less than 1,000 euro per month, you are free to apply. That because 22,500 is still less than 4,000. Oh, sorry, less than 2,000. Less than 2,000 euro per month income, then you are free to apply. But you must be physically present in Latvia 4 out of the 5 years. And then I think next we have Romania. Romania is next on the list and does not allow your spouse to work, although it allows you to come with your family. And then it allows dual citizenship. The blue card applies. Passport is number 7 in the world, allows you access to 110 countries without visa, 51 visa on arrival. Average tuition is between 2,000 and 5,000 euro for general programs, undergraduate or postgraduate. But if you are studying specialized courses like medicine, it may go up to about 9,000. Work and study is just 4 hours per week if you are a non-EU citizen, which is very, very low. And for post-study work policy, after your graduation, you can stay back for 9 months to find a job. And within this time, you can either work or start a business. PR or citizenship applies after a minimum of 5 years of stay. And then less than 6 months out of these 5 years must have been spent outside Romania. If you spend more than 6 months outside Romania, that disqualifies you. Your permit validity is about 5 years when you get it. So you get 5 years per permit to stay back when you get this. And next one is Bulgaria. which also allows you to bring your family and your spouse can work. It does not allow dual citizenship except if the person is actually born as a dual citizen. So if a person is born by one Bulgarian parent and another international parent, then that means dual citizenship applies at birth. For such people, Bulgaria allows them to keep their dual citizenship. Other than that, if you are doing naturalization, you have to renounce your previous citizenship to take on Bulgarian citizenship. The blue card applies. Passport is number 8 in the world, 107 countries visa-free, 53 visa on arrival. And then the conditions, other conditions, as you can see here, average tuition 3,000 to 6,000 euro for undergraduate program and 3,000 to 5,000 for postgraduate. 20 hours of work per week as a student, but you are going to need a work permit that you are free to apply for if you are a non-EU citizen. Post-study, there is no post-study work opportunity except you find a job. So if you find a job, you get a work visa, then you can stay back. 5 years of PR, then you can apply for citizenship. You can also apply for the golden visa if you have liquid investment of about €1 million over a period of 2 years. So they expect you to invest half of this, 50% of this €1 million. That's about 500,000 euro in 1 year, and another 500,000 euro in another year. Then you are qualified for this PR for citizenship. Yeah, so that's the policy over the area. Passport is number 8 in the world and gives you access to 107 countries, visa free, 53 visa on arrival. Russia, I think, is the last one there. Passport is number 36, gives you access to 76 countries free and 43 visa on arrival. Your spouse and family can come with you. The process is not very straightforward, but you can get them to come. You're going to need to make a special application for the family. And then it allows dual citizenship at the end of the day. Currently, because of the war that is going on, Russia invasion of Ukraine, you may need to also be aware of that. Although there is no war in Russia, but there is war going on between Russia and Ukraine. So you want to consider that. The scholarship opportunity in Russia is excellent, fantastic. It does not discriminate. And what do I mean by that? Most countries only give scholarship to individuals who are exceptionally good academically, first class, high CGPA, but Russia does not do that. Every single person can apply for Russian scholarship. And you just need to take a test, and if you pass the test, you can have the scholarship. And there are full scholarships offered by Russian government every year. Last year, we put in people for that, and a number of people were able to get it. And some who couldn't get the full scholarship were able to get very nice discount, 50%, 60%, 40%. That's very good. So that's another thing you want to consider. Work and study is unspecified. You can work for as much time as you like, and if you have time. If you are actually studying for a master's program, you can work full time, because in Russia, master's students only go to classes in the evening. So you can work from morning till evening and then go to class in the evening. They actually expect you to work. So, and then you also have opportunity to get involved in industrial engagement. There are a lot, or let me say there were a lot of companies. Practically every company that you know actually is represented in Russia until the war started. But when the war started, many of them left. So we probably can expect them to return when the war is over, if the war is over, and then you may still continue to enjoy that opportunity. But generally, it's a good place to study. And when you graduate, you need to get a work permit to stay back. But it's very easy to get a job in Russia. According to the data that we have, most international students get their work permit they get jobs even before they graduate. in their last semester, they already have jobs that allows them to stay back. So that's a good one. And citizenship and PR policy is also nice. After 2 years of residence, you can apply for your PR. And after 5 years of PR, you can apply for citizenship. Your PR gives you a 5-year validity of stay in the country. And if you are married to a local Russian citizen, after 3 years, you can apply for your citizenship. But you need to pass a test of Russian language, history, and law. You need to pass that test for you to qualify for citizenship. So generally, I think those are the countries that we have. And then mentioned that they allow dual citizenship, and you can come with your family, but your family will not be able to work, except if your spouse is also able to apply for. There's a special permit that you can apply for that allows you to work. That allows your spouse to work. That's why you have the broken box, the broken orange box around the picture of the family there. So I think so far those are the countries that we have. Finally, I wanted to say, for those who are curious about the passport ratings, I also just want you to take a look at this. The number 1 passport in the world is UAE. The UAE passport is number 1 in the world, and I think the figure you have down there may not be very correct. It allows you to enter as more countries than any other countries. I added Seychelles because that is the only African country that is in the top 25 passport rating of the world. Seychelles is number 22. So that means other African countries are much higher than that, and it allows you to enter 100 countries. Afghanistan is the last country on the passport index. It's number 89. And if you hold Afghanistan passport, you can only enter 4 countries visa-free. If you hold a US passport, so I added all these other countries that are very popular with every one of us, so that you can know that they may not even be the best in the world in terms of passport. USA is number 3. There are 11 countries before USA. But the USA passport allows you to enter 112 countries visa-free and 54 visa on arrival. New Zealand is number 3 also, allows you access to 110 countries without visa, 56 countries visa on arrival. Australia is number 4, gives you access to 107 countries visa-free, 58 visa on arrival. UK, same, but 114 countries visa-free and 51 visa on arrival. And Canada is number 5 and allows you access to 112 countries visa-free and 52 visa on arrival. Next, because I've talked a lot about all these countries that are very cheap for you to study in, I also want you to see the most expensive countries in the world to live in, because you are not only going to be paying tuition when you're studying, you're also going to be paying living expenses. Switzerland is one of the most expensive countries in the world to live in. As you can see, there is number 3. Monaco is top, and this is cost per month in US dollars of living. So if you want to live in these countries, you need this amount of money to survive. You can see there, Norway is number 9, and United States is number 10. And this is based on per month USD cost of living. And then the next one is put together by Numbeo, which is based on USA being 100, and then these other countries were rated on the basis of that. You can see that Switzerland is also very high here. It's next to Bermuda, and Norway and Denmark are down there, number 8 and number 9. So these countries are cheap to study, but living expenses can also be a little bit high compared with other countries. And finally, you have this top 10 based on global economy, where the global average is 100. And then you have Switzerland again showing up, Norway and Denmark showing up. So I just need you to factor all of those in for you to know what to go for. So that brings me to the end of my presentation.